Alright, as you can see, people moving along. We've got the rear end torn down and the new bearing races are pressed into there, which is essential for really getting it set up right, you know, putting the new pinion bearings in it and everything like that. So I'm not going to get into the whole process of how to rebuild the rear end because it's complex. Like, it seems simple in some ways, but if you don't get the shimming right, you're going to waste a lot of money in parts and gears and stuff. So if it's something you're really gonna get into it and plan on rebuilding several of them, it's not a bad idea to learn. You know, when I was first learning on my F body, I had a set of 410s that just didn't set up right and were howling and stuff. So it takes, you know, I've got years of experience rebuilding rear differentials, so it takes some time to really be able to know what you're looking at and get the shimming right. So, I mean, if you just want to get one set in your car, I'd recommend just having a professional do it because, you know, by the time if you lose a good set of new gears and bearings and all that, you could just pay to have it done right. But anyways, there are the old freaking 273s, which is just crazy that Ford even puts these in these cars. I mean, you gotta figure they're looking for fuel mileage and all that, you know, but they're between the two-piece flywheel over there that weighs 1,000,000 pounds and those 273 gears, it's a big handicap for the V6 car. I mean, if they would have put a lighter flywheel in it and some better gearing from the factory, but almost makes you wonder if they didn't want it to be too close to keeping up with the GT for marketing purposes, because this car, when it's done, it's gonna give some GTs a run for their money for sure. So with the tune and gears and the stage 4 clutch and probably put maybe a drag radial tire on it, and then maybe eventually even 100 shot of nitrous, so we'll see. So yeah, there's the 373 ring gears already on the housing, and the cool thing is these cars come with a limited slip in them from the factory. There's the 373 pinion. I mean, you can see the massive size difference. Watch, let me grab them and put them side by side. Yeah, I mean, you can tell just the 273 versus the 373 is going to be a pretty big change because it's a pretty close ratio transmission also. So but yeah, I just have to cut that old bearing and race off there and then start with the Ford Explorer shim and press my new pinion bearing onto there, and I can start putting it back together. So I'll catch up with you guys here in a little bit when I get her back together. See you in a bit. Alright, good news. We got the shimming cherry on the first go around. If you look at that pattern right there, it's actually contacting the gear really well. You can see it's all the way down into the tooth and making good contact the whole distance of the tooth. So that's really good, and just years of experience, you know, to get it on the first go around. I mean, it's not plus some good synchronicity and timing. I mean, but it wasn't an accident. I mean, this isn't my first rodeo. So what I'd done, like I said, is I used the factory pinion depth shim from the Explorer that the gears came out of, and then I used the factory carrier bearing shims from the Mustang and just got her on the first go around. But I've had quite a bit of luck with that, using that strategy in the past. So now if it's a brand new gear set, that's different. You're probably gonna have to start out with the factory Mustang shim and maybe add 10 thousandths to it and go with some trailer. I mean, it's not uncommon to have to pull these things down 2-3 times to get the shimming right, which is kind of a pain in the butt, because a lot of times, depending on what kind of presses or setup you have to put a new pinion bearing every time you take it off to re-shim it. So whereas shimming the backlash, you just pull off the carrier. But I mean, and you know, you can use a dial gauge and all that to check it, but I mean, I've got to the point where I can kind of just feel my backlash and eyeball it, and just, you know. But I mean, again, I've been building rear ends for, you know, over, gosh, I don't even know, you know, 18 years or something. So yeah, it is absolutely perfect, which is great news. Those puppies are gonna run quiet and good. So yeah, let's go ahead and just slap the axles back in it, and the C-clips and the brakes and everything like that, and button her up, and then go up there and button up the rest of the stuff to the tranny, throw the drive shaft in it, and then we have the cold air intake to put on it and a couple other things, and we will be done with this round of mods here pretty soon. I mean, I still got some time to button everything up, but I'll get this done and catch up with you guys in a bit.